Hi, and welcome to Lessons with Cameron. Today we're talking about the 2012 Gibson Les Paul Traditional. It's a made in the USA Gibson Les Paul, and it's a pretty fantastic instrument. We're going to go ahead and go over the basics of it. The Gibson Les Paul is made famous by having the top part of the wood here being a maple top that is carved solid here. Then we've also got a mahogany body along with mahogany neck and rosewood fretboard. Got the trapezoid inlays that are pretty classic looking. It's got some binding down the sides of the neck here, as well as the classic tuner style peg heads. The Les Paul began as a signature model for guitarist Les Paul back in the 1950s. And the first Les Pauls are prized possessions. They're far and few between, and they fetch a huge price tag. Ever since then, the guitar has gone through a whole bunch of changes until eventually returning back to where it originally started for the most part. The first Les Pauls were very much so way ahead of their time in terms of how much power they were really bringing. At the time, your only real true options were companies like Gretsch, maybe Fender, and there was few and far between. I mean, Fender didn't even come around until 1946. So in the 50s, Gibson was making a play for that electric market, and then the two of them were just fighting ferociously in the 50s. So they signed with Les Paul to create the Les Paul guitars, which in the 60s they tried to change it to what's today known as the SG series. Les Paul himself was not a big fan at all of the SG, so he kind of made fun of it. And he eventually got them to change the original Les Paul back to this shape, which it's been holding fast to ever since then. So this is very few changes from a guitar that's been used by everybody from Slash from Guns N' Roses to Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin. You'll see these in the hands of pretty much anybody who matters, and even guys who don't play Gibson, almost all of them somewhere in their collection, you'll find a Les Paul. It's just one of those staple guitars. So here is some sound samples of the actual Les Paul itself. I'm going to start with the rhythm pickup, and we're going to take it from here. The Les Paul has a kind of a singing quality to it. It's a real thick sound. It's pretty full. We're going to give it some kind of more sparse stuff. I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to the lead channel and let this thing rock what they say treble here, which is our bridge pickup, and here it goes. The Les Paul also happens to have kind of this weird thing about it. When it squeals these guys out, nothing seems to really ever do it quite like a Les Paul. And this one seems to pull that off pretty well. Really not much more to say about it. It is a great guitar if you're wondering. I mean, it's heavy, but it's not as heavy as some others. For example, The Medusa is it's pretty heavy, but that's well worth all the weight to get the tone. This thing is, so far, I'm going to be looking at taking this on the road with me as my secondary guitar, so I don't always have to bring out this big heavy guy, and give my back some relief on some longer shows. Even though most people would think it's kind of crazy to use a Les Paul to give your back a break, but in this case, that's exactly what I'm doing. So thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe right here, and check out the other videos we have. We're covering every guitar that I've got here in the group, so we can kind of get a wide range of what to look for in a guitar, some samplings of some tones, and some things you can expect to hear. So thanks for tuning in. This is Lessons with Cameron. Make sure to subscribe.